Hello everyone! Patch 11.2, the next and most likely last major patch for the World Within, called Ghost of Kharesh, launches next week. So there will be those coming back in, those joining for the first time now that the full expansion is out, or those that simply want a refresher on the story so far, and that's what we're going to do today. The story so far, for what you need to know, going into Ghost of Kharesh.
But this radiant song is different.
It's being heard all across Azeroth. The Council doesn't know what to make of it.
All across Azeroth, a voice rings out, the so-called Radiant Song. But we're not sure what this is all about. Some take a trip to go and have a word with Magni Bronzebeard, Speaker of Azeroth. He was our voice for us before. If anyone could tell us what is going on, it's probably gonna be him. But there's another problem worth investigating. In Dragonflight, we saw the primal incarnate Iridikron collect, power up, and pass on an artifact called the Dark Heart to a mysterious Harbinger. Who is this, and what do they want? That is for Alleria Windrunner to figure out. She is part of the Windrunner family like Sylvanas and Vrisa, but she wasn't around for quite a while. She was off fighting the Burning Legion, together with the Army of the Light and her husband Trevelyan, all for the sake of Azeroth, for their beloved child Arator, left behind in the care of Vrisa. Through her battles, she acquired quite the power upgrade, where Trevelyan is all about the light, something she tried to imitate for a bit. Ultimately, her destiny led her to the Void, shown to be quite the prodigy under the tutelage of the Locus-walker. Even now, her lessons are still ongoing, as her research, it reveals that the Dark Heart is capable of sucking up magic and then turning it into voids, with the Harbinger actually being Xal'atath, pressing on all the right buttons to get under Alleria's skin.
End me, Alleria! Has the Void not given you the strength?
I can't do it!
Alleria, I see your weak heart. You cling to them still.
We know Xal'atath as an entity that was trapped in a blade by the Old Gods, an artifact wielded by Shadow Priest during Legion, but by no means were they the first to listen to her whispers and bargain for her powers. Powers and whispers that guided us through the battle against Sargeras and the Legion, sacrificing the power collected to cleanse the corruption out of the sword left behind by Sargeras, and then kind of forgotten. We reunited, followed the whispers once more, this time to our own detriment, as Xal'atath was released from the blade by the old god N'Zoth, while we were left in his gentle care.
A fair exchange. Shadows guide you, my dear friend. We will meet again. I am certain of it.
Ultimately, N'Zoth was laser-beamed into oblivion. Azeroth, according to Magni, has been cleansed of the old god's infection, but the blood is still around. And Xal'atath did promise that we'd see it again, and as it turns out, we're not the only ones who had to deal with her.
So it is Xal'atath who has claimed the Dark Heart. I understand now why she calls herself the Harbinger.
I've had enough riddles for one day.
The radiant visions you spoke of are the very same my people had, before our world was consumed by the Void Lord Dimensius.
What? You don't think... Could Xal'atath be seeking that same fate for Azeroth?
I fear that is precisely what she intends. You must find a way to stop her.
Me? Look, she knew exactly how to hurt me. I don't think I'm the one to...
Yes, she knew your greatest fear is endangering your family. But you must let go of that fear. Embrace who you truly are.
I know who I am.
Do you? You are unbalanced. You must master your unique nature, Alleria. If you cannot, then Azeroth is already doomed.
Locus-walker also knows about her and squarely points the finger in her direction. Once upon a time, his planet, the world of Karesh, it had the world soul call out as well. And then the Void Lord Dimensius showed up, ready to turn their world into a delicious snack to be devoured. He thinks that with Azeroth calling out, with Xal'atath showing up again, that history is going to repeat itself. But is that the whole story? History tells us that the Ethereals, a race of gifted scientists and magi, they were originally Kareshi, living on the world of Karesh. In pursuit of knowledge and arcane technologies, they had doomed themselves in their home. The Kareshi had torn open a rift into the void and drawn the wrath of a being known as Dimensius the All-Devouring. Dimensius had bathed the world in volatile energies that slowly tore it apart, and the Kareshi had desperately tried to shield themselves from harm. Their efforts had only partially worked. Their magic had blocked Dimensius' shadowy power, but raw, arcane energy shattered their physical bodies. All that remained were their souls, bristling with magic. And from that day forward, these incorporeal creatures called themselves Ethereals. This story has then been further explained by Locus-walker himself in the Doom of Karesh story, where he talks with Alleria about the Devouring War and he goes further into details. While the story doesn't outright state that it was the Kareshi that summoned in Dimensius, it does tell us that it was the Locus-walker who got into contact with and dove deep into the research of the Void. Just him taking on the Whispers and darkness for years, even having presumably Xal'atath in his mind, who warns him and works against Dimensius, even though she was his harbinger. What more is going on between the Locus-walker and Xal'atath, and what exactly is a relationship to Dimensius, that is to be revealed. But all that led to the Locus-walker throwing up the idea that they should use their legendary Rishi ribbons, artifacts of old with the power to absorb magic and turn it into the arcane, use those to power their defenses and keep the Devourer at bay. It actually worked, and for a while they launched their counteroffensive in the Devouring War. But taking on a being like Dimensius is near impossible, not to mention the unexpected side effects. The magics of the shields started to flay them alive. A process called the wasting, a process that did not happen overnight. Tortuously slow, they were being flayed, and the tradition of banishing themselves started to become common practice amongst their people out of dire necessity. Dimensius' void powers also started to be sucked in and increased the output of the ribbons even further. Then he saw how all that flaying and the flaking of their skin, it revealed yet another transformation by the Rishi. It was turning their beings into that of pure energy, which Locus-walker believed could be their salvation. As beings of energy, they could leave Karesh behind, go anywhere, leaving Dimensius an abandoned planet to devour. The details of the end of the war are left open-ended within the story, but we do learn that Xal'atath, with the Soul Scribe at his side, he proclaimed himself to be their king, pointing his finger at the Locus-walker and his allies for being responsible for their long suffering, which turned the people of Karesh against them, while the protections up above were shut down and Dimensius resumed his feasts. This left Locus-walker on the run, with his allies like Kaivessa and Nari. Again, the details on how the war ends, what happened to the World Soul, what happened to Dimensius and Xal'atath, those details the story did not reveal. But the end result is known. The Kareshi became beings of energy and took up the name Ethereals. At least those of their kind that we met in Outlands, those we saw bartering and trading. The King Xal'atath was dabbling in the powers of the Void, but we took him out. Some of them were hell-bent on claiming vengeance upon Dimensius, a mission we also helped them with, but I'm assuming that this was only a small fraction, a small part of the Void Lord, as the threat of him is still very real and coming to try and consume. Then there was another offshoot of the Ethereals, the ones that we ran into with the Shadowlands, the so-called brokers. And even back then, we were wondering, aren't these simply Ethereals pretending to be something else? Because they walked, talked, and acted the same. And it now has been confirmed that they indeed have a similar origin point. Nari being more commonly known by us under the name Venari, the broker that helped us survive the Maw and beyond.
I have not seen you since the destruction of our world, as I preferred it.
Such fangs, Locus-walker. You wound me. Yet unfortunate as it may be, it seems we must work together one last time.
That's how our adventure into the war with him began, and Xal'atath quickly showed that she hadn't forgotten the time that she spent with us in Legion and in Battle for Azeroth. She had seen us work wonders before, topple great threats and save the world. Powerhouses like Khadgar, the Kirin Tor, Dalaran teleporting to the Broken Isles. What better target to take out first? So while we worried about Magni, who got knocked out from speaking with Azeroth before he was able to tell us where to go, we also focused on dealing with Azeroth, remembering things from the past within the pre-event. And as it turns out, Xal'atath managed to hide away right under our noses, infiltrate the Kirin Tor disguised as Drendon, a member that had vanished in the story and now suddenly popped up again. It wasn't exactly a surprise for us when Xal'atath revealed herself to be Drendon, which makes you wonder why nobody else questioned his sudden return, but you could write it off with some good old Void manipulations. If a Void prodigy like Alleria couldn't even detect her, what chance did any of the others have? And as Magni woke up, pressing along Azeroth's message that we needed to go to Algar, Drendon used us to strengthen Dalaran's defenses, while in reality, we weakened them, opening up the floodgates for Xal'atath's Nerubian allies to come in.
Until we meet again, Alleria.
The Harbinger had most definitely won the first round, devouring all the magics of Dalaran within the Dark Hearts. Even Khadgar got eaten up. Things weren't exactly looking good, but what is it that she's after? What is she trying to accomplish with all of this power gathered? Whatever it might be, surely it can't be good, right? Time to regroup, get ourselves some new allies, make some new enemies, and try to stop her. A journey that led us from the Isle of Dorn, where we met the Irvin, we helped unify them, took care of the Nerubian threats, to then fix part of the coreway and go deeper down. Deeper below into Azeroth, through the Ringing Deeps, where we stopped Xal'atath from infecting the Irvin machines and making a whole army of corrupted Irvin. Instead, Magni sacrificed it all, shut out Azeroth's gifts, which repaired the machines, giving birth to a new generation of Irvin, and even returning his fleshy form. To then go and visit Hollowfall with the big crystal called Baladar. This is a calcified piece of Azeroth's world soul, one that used to be all pure and light, until Sargeras stabbed the world and the darkening began. With that, it started to turn from light to darkness. So too did the threats rise within Hollowfall. The periods of darkness are getting longer and longer, but the Arathi of Hollowfall, here because of the visions of their Emperor, and a great prophesied battle of light versus darkness called Renilush, they will not let the darkness overtake them. We join Anduin as he meets up with them, connects to Farron Lothar, makes small steps in overcoming the trauma of the Shadowlands, dare to reconnect to the light.
The stars are devoured, and they light a candle. You know how this ends, Alleria. Inevitably, the void consumes everything.
All the while, Alleria is being whispered at, taunted and pulled by Xal'atath to give in and surrender to the voids. As you went lower to save Anduin with the aid of the Haranir, a mysterious new race connected to the roots, able to communicate with the world soul inside and potentially connected to life itself. We managed to stop this Nerubian threat, leading to us actually learning more about Nerubian society and how there were Nerubians not down with Xal'atath's plans of evolution and their corruption of their queen, turning allies out of those willing to rise up, save Anduin, and even see Windrunner hold her ground against the Harbinger.
Please. I've seen you, Windrunner. Always alone, pushing everyone away to embrace the hunt. Just like the monster you pretend not to be.
You're the only monster here.
Am I? You've slain hundreds to find me. Was that really all for Khadgar? Or is it just your nature to destroy? Come, Alleria. Embrace who you truly are.
Alleria.
I know who I am.
While Locus-walker might believe that you have to let go of your loved ones and attachments to truly wield the void, Alleria believes that the lights in her life are the ones that allow her to cause such a big shadow. For now, she holds on, and she goes from instantly being disarmed and crawling on the floor to, well...
You know, Alleria, you mortals are the most wrathful creatures in existence. I've watched you break worlds, overthrow gods. Even the realm of death couldn't hold you. Your hunger for violence is insatiable. You lured us here, unleashed us upon the Nerubians, all to fuel the Black Blood's power. My power. This stops now. Your determination delights me. But I have risen from the ashes of countless empires. I have survived ordeals you cannot comprehend. You cannot kill me. I'm not aiming at you.
This changes nothing!
The Dark Heart is damaged, with a bonus of Khadgar flying out. His time inside the artifact did him no favors, and while the Boy King is able to fully embrace the light again, give Khadgar a proper resurrection, there is some permanent damage for the Archmage. And while Xal'atath yells that this changes nothing, apparently that's a filthy lie, as she still needs the Dark Heart, even though we're not told why.
The world's soul, so long denied me, shall be mine.
The promo material says that she sets her sights on the world's soul, but is that merely to devour it and increase her power, or is there something else that she wants to accomplish? That is to be revealed. Clearly, whatever it might be, it does require the Dark Heart. And so, she recruits the aid of Gallywix and the goblins to fix it, seeing how it was the goblins that helped Deathwing make the Dragon Soul, and the Dark Heart was a prototype to the Dragon Soul. It makes sense that they're the ones that she recruits. But Gallywix is no dummy. He has seen what happened to her other allies. He wants to keep the Dark Heart in his possession until he has enough leverage, enough firepower to keep his position as Kingpin of the Undermine neatly secured. Sadly for him, the Ethereals show up, presumed to be working for the Harbinger to collect the Dark Heart, but as it turns out...
Where is the Dark Heart?
What do you mean? I handed it over to your Ethereal pal.
You gave it to the Ethereals?
He wasn't working for you? I didn't know, I swear! Hey, we can still fix this! Just help me stomp this rebellion!
You have outlived your usefulness. But I will enjoy watching them tear you apart.
Which left him without the backing of the Harbinger, but still in control of the Undermine with a whole bunch of powerful weaponry. Not enough to stop us from working with Gaslow and the other cartels to restore Undermine to how it used to be. Well, maybe just a little bit better, with Jester Gallywix crushed under his own ego. Then these Ethereals, they're not working for Xal'atath at all, and they've taken the Dark Heart back to the home of Khaz, revealing the aftermath of the Devouring War. We see a world broken, but not entirely devoured. What happened in those final days as they battled Dimensius, and what is it that these Ethereals want to accomplish with the Dark Heart? Is Locus-walker's warning true? Is Xal'atath trying to guide Dimensius to snack on Azeroth's world soul? Will we see a repeat of history and enter the Devouring War ourselves? Or can we find some way to stop all of this before it ever happens? Is Locus-walker truly on our side? Or have the whispers of the void of Xal'atath taken him over long ago? Will Alleria be able to hold on to her sanity as she confronts the Harbinger? Will those anchors prove strong enough to keep gazing into the light? What is it that Xal'atath truly wants? With the Titan's actions revealed in a different light, how on a cosmic scale does our Prime World soul fit into all of this? How many pulls is the Emboss going to take this time for the race to world first? And how many times are they able to show us Xal'atath's feet before we enter midnight? That and so many more questions are waiting to be revealed. But for now, you're up to speed on the story so far, so thank you very much for watching, everyone. Really hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, sacrifice a goat. You know how the internet works. Per usual, I will be covering the main campaign. That's going to be next week as it's out. Then we're going to be talking about the raid, about how the final fight plays out. Gamescom is around the corner, so we're going to be talking about the announcement cutscene and whatever might happen in midnight. Hopefully in alpha beta real soon. Plenty more to talk about. But for now, on to next time. See ya!